fellas, lady fellas, and for the society, welcome to the Fantasy in Reality Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Spencer Tacker. Today in the ridiculously over-decorated studio, we're going to be talking about Week 1 overreactions and waiver wire Wednesday preparation. So, the first thing you want to do in Week 1 is not freak out or overreact to any good performances or any bad performances. If someone went off, Sammy Watkins, someone like that, John Ross, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, it's like, oh man, they're going to be fantastic this year. They're going to kill it. Hold your horses. Slow down. Let's take everything with a grain of salt. So you want to make sure that you're staying level-headed. You don't want to freak out, just like you don't want to overreact for if someone had a bad performance. Devontae Adams, dude, only had a few catches. Julio didn't do too well until the end of the game. The Falcons' offense looked not so good. The Browns' offense looked not so good. It's just Week 1. Just relax. So, the first overhyped thing I have is that the Titans are good. I don't want you to freak out and think that the Titans are a good football team. They did well, but they played the Browns. Hopefully the Browns aren't the Browns of old. Hopefully they're the new Browns that everyone was excited to see. I know that Mariota looked like a fantastic quarterback, but that's not who I think he is. Everyone has a decent game every once in a while, and everyone has a bad game. I just think that those two things came together into one game. The Browns had a bad game, which ended up in the Titans having a good game. Some of the consistent things I think that will stick are Derrick Henry doing decently well. He won't always get a huge touchdown like he did, but he'll still see decent volume. Delaney Walker should still be that number one target, super reliable guy for Marcus Mariota. I don't think Marcus Mariota is going to have crazy, really good games like this, like he's never really done in the past. So I don't see that being too much of a sticky thing that's going to stay for a while. Another overreaction that I have is that Sammy Watkins will somehow end up as a top 10 because of the crazy game he had in Week 1. As I said previously, Tyreek Hill is injured. His clavicle is injured. It's not broken to where he needs surgery, but he will take a few weeks to recover. So Sammy Watkins will probably be one of the number 1 or 2 guys on the offense until he comes back. So he'll have very padded stats at the beginning of the season, and then when Tyreek comes back, I don't think that he's going to see nearly the numbers that he did in Week 1. Another overreaction I have is that Dak Prescott and Lamar Jackson will be like top 5 quarterbacks at the end of the season. They both had fantastic games. I was high on both of these guys in the offseason. I knew they were going to do well. I didn't think they were going to do this well, especially this early, but the Ravens smoked that game. And then the Giants are not that very good of a team. So with the Ravens playing the Dolphins and the Cowboys playing the Giants, it was basically a tune-up game for them because the Dolphins and Giants are not going to be good this season. The Dolphins are trying to get out as fast as they can. The Giants are not very good. They still have the quarterback situation, so we'll see what goes on with all of that. I'm not sure that Lamar Jackson is going to keep throwing the ball like he did, like crazy, and gave everyone else very fantastic games. He barely rushed, which is very odd for him, so I think he's definitely going to run more in the future games. I don't know if he's going to throw as much. If he keeps this up, he's going to be great. I loved that he had such a fantastic game. He looked fantastic just like Dak. Both looked great. No interceptions, only a few. I think they had maybe less than 10 incompletions between the both of them and 9 touchdowns. So they both had great games. I like them. But as I said, I'm not sure how sticky it is and if it'll keep staying consistent that way. But take it with a grain of salt. Another overreaction I have is that Deshaun Jackson is going to be the number 1 target in Philly. He did great. 2 touchdowns even with that broken finger. But they just have so many other weapons that I'm not saying that D Jackson's not going to do well every game. I'm just saying it's less likely because Wentz has all those weapons. And Ertz, Goddard, all the running backs like Sanders, Howard, Alshon, Nelson Aguilar, Jaws. So there's so many guys around Wentz, it's hard to keep track of who's going to be that number one guy. Just like Drew Brees has in the years past, so many receivers that he spreads the ball around so much that one's not super valuable on the team until now with Michael Thomas. But as in years past, that's how it was. So it's going to be hard to see who's going to be that number one guy. As of now, you would think it'd be Ertz or Alshon. But with Djax coming back, his first game in Philly, looking fantastic. Dude burned the defense. So it was nice to see him come back against the Redskins like that. So, as I said, I'm not sure if he's going to stay that way. It would be super nice if he did, because I love Djax's performance. I think he did really well. But let's just hold off on making him an every week start because of his performance. Now, I have a few teams and players on my don't give up list on my reactions, such as the Browns and Falcons offenses. Don't give up on them. It's just one game, first game of the season. We still have 15 more to go. So just keep faith in them. Julio still had an okay game. Matty Ice, even though he turned the ball over many times, he still had a decently good game. Baker threw so many interceptions, especially like 3 in the fourth quarter. So I think he was just getting frustrated and just trying to do too much with too little. So I feel that they're going to hopefully make a bounce back in week 2. Try to forget about the week 1 performances. So don't give up on any of the guys on those offenses if they didn't perform well, because it was just 1 week and a lot of stuff can happen. You could have a bad week in week 1 and kill it the rest of the 15 weeks. So just stay calm. Don't make any rash decisions. Try to trade for someone who did better, because if you try to trade Devontae Adams for Sammy Watkins because Adams didn't have a good week and Sammy Watkins had a fantastic week, don't do anything crazy like that. Just sit on what you got. Try to make any smart waiver wire decisions and complete your team. Like I said, don't do anything crazy. And so, speaking of waiver wire, we're going to do waiver wire Wednesday prep, and a few guys that did well who I think are going to actually sustain this performance that you could add to your teams, and some of them aren't owned in very many leagues, so they should be available in yours. So the first guy I have is Gardner Minshew, because Nick Foles got hurt. If you need him, I don't see why you would, but if you do, new quarterback for Jacksonville. Although Jacksonville got a trade from the Steelers to get a new backup quarterback, so we'll see who's the backup and who's the starter, so just play that by ear. A guy who I think is going to see most of the targets, hopefully, in Buffalo is John Brown. He had a very decent, well-rounded game. I think that's going to sustain, so you could probably put waivers in on him. I'm not sure how valuable he'll be as compared to your other league mates and who's going to go after him, but he should definitely be a guy that you should target. Another Brown is Hollywood. I think that the injury he sustained early on in preseason didn't really affect him all that much in this game. He looked great. He caught a few touchdowns from Lamar Jackson, who went off, as I said. So I think that when Lamar Jackson does throw the ball, it will go to either Hollywood or Mark Andrews, who's another guy on this list that you can target if he's not already owned in your league. A guy I already talked about, which I don't think he'll sustain, but as for a few weeks, while Tyreek Hill's hurt, you could see if Sammy Watkins is available. He's probably owned in a good bit of leagues, so he might not be available in yours, but you can still try for him. As I said, he's going to be one of the top few guys without Tyreek Hill being there. Mecole Hardman could possibly also be a tiny bit of value with Tyreek Hill out. DJ Chark's another guy who had a good game for Jacksonville, so you can see what he does compared to D.D. Westbrook and try to target him. He's probably not owned in more than 10% of leagues, so he should definitely be a guy that's available in your league if you would like to have him and see how he's going to do with one of the two new quarterbacks that's there. Another guy you could pick up who had a really good game is Terry McLaurin. We'll see how he can do compared to the other guys on his team. He's not a guy that was really well known in the Redskins offense. So we'll see if he can sustain that, or if he'll kind of fall to the wayside and have one of those anomaly type games where the week 1 syndrome, as usual, someone very unknown had a fantastic game. He gets super picked up in leagues for week 2, and then he falls off the face of the earth. So you want to be cautious with that. Try not to use too much fab on guys like that if you're in a league with fab. So just be cautious. Try not to sell the farm for a possible bust on the season. Play smart, be smart, check your waiver wire. He's definitely going to be available, but it's just to see if you want that kind of unknown player on your team. The next 2 guys that I have at tight end, I have Mark Andrews, but you already knew that. So the next 2 guys I have are Vernon Davis and TJ Hawkinson. Both did great. Both guys I really like. I like Hawkinson. I thought he was going to do great. I didn't think it was going to be this early, but he still had a really good game. The Cardinals offense in that secondary is not that great, so Matthew Stafford had opportunities to throw downfield to Hawkinson. So hopefully that can continue. Vernon Davis, the old guy, doing what he does, man. He and Delaney Walker both had good games, were athletic for their old age, showing you that age is only a number. I can still do this day in and day out. So those are guys that you could target. Delaney Walker might be owned in your league, so I have Vernon Davis on this list because I'm sure he's not owned in many leagues because Jordan Reed's that number 1 guy. He has a concussion right now, so whenever Reed's out, Vernon Davis starts and shows out. So I'm sure he's a guy that will do very good for your team, get 10 points or so a week at least, so he could be a good guy for you. But those were a few of my overreactions of players that did too crazy, players that didn't do well at all, plus waiver wire Wednesday preparation, guys that you can hopefully try to get to make your team better. Let me know some of your overreactions, who you think is going to bounce back from a bad week, who you think is going to drop off after having a fantastic week, who are some guys on your waiver wire list that can be possible potential aids to your team. So let me know who you're targeting. If there's some sneaky guy that I didn't mention that you think is going to go off and have a really good season. But as always, thank you for tuning in and thank you for all your support. Leave your feedback, questions, topic suggestions down there in the comment section below. Remember that sports is supposed to be enjoyed together, so please tell someone about us. We want to spread the word as possible, grow the community, receive knowledge, give knowledge, everything like that, all that good stuff. So in order to grow the community, you got to smash that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button so we can try to keep giving you as much content as we can to help you week in and week out. But lastly, I'll leave you with God bless America and God bless fantasy football. Take care.